I'm going to now go through preparing the financial statements, but just to recap how we got to this point. We recorded our regular transactions in the journal. We posted them to the ledger, updating the balances, and then we recorded, or not recorded, we got all of the unadjusted balances to prepare an unadjusted trial balance to see that our debits equal our credits. And we reviewed these balances to determine whether any of the accounts needed adjusting, and we had 3 adjusting entries that we made. We recorded the adjusting entries in the journal. We posted them to the ledger between the unadjusted balance and the adjusted balance, and then we prepared the adjusted trial balance, getting the adjusted balances. So that's where we're at. We now are going to prepare the financials, which is very similar to how we've always been doing it, but I want to point out a couple things. So here I have sales revenue. I'm going to go and link it to my unadjusted, or excuse me, my adjusted trial balance up above. Now I am going to want you to do the expenses as negatives. Put a negative in front of it. The reason being is that the sum function will work that way. Plus it's easier for you to see what's making net income go down, and that'll be the expenses. In real life they don't use negatives, but for the purposes of the example here we'll use negatives. Then you do your statement of shareholders' equity, and I'm going to show you where you get your beginning balances. All beginning balances should be gotten from the ledger. And I had no new stock issued, so I did equal 0, and then I did a sum function. And then beginning retained earnings, again, you're going to go pick that up right over here and add your net income from here, subtract your dividends, again minus, and then click on that cell. Now cash flows I'll do with you. I would go over to your journal and look for the word, or anytime you debit or credit cash, because that's what we're gonna, basically what we got to see is that we come down to cash flows that looks like this in the end. So here we go. We have cash being paid $1,200. That's paying for our purchases made on account. That's our buying of inventory. So I'm going to go equal minus, and I'm going to go click on that credit. That's why I have it as a minus. The next item I had was the payment of wages. And then I'm going to go back because I can't remember. Oh yeah, then I had the collecting of cash from my customers. And now for this next one, we have to go through and take the cash and split it between operating and financing. The repaying of your principal, the note, is financing, and unfortunately they refer to the paying of interest as an operating activity. So the way you can do that is you would go to your, let's go to here. I'm going to go equal minus, and I'm going to do the 1,000 under financing, and then up here for the payment of interest I'm going to go equal sum. Oops, sorry, I'm going to go equal minus sum because this is cash going out, and then I'm going to sum these two up. And there was no investing activities. I had payment of dividends as my next and last cash item. You get your change in cash by, I'm going to show you that, equal sum, hold down your control or command key, operating plus your investing plus your financing. So our cash went up by $1,185. You're going to go get your beginning cash right here off your ledger, beginning balances, and our cash is $4,655. And these balances, you can see I'm linking them all right up here. Now let's just do this one. We're going to have to get the sum of these two because we're netting those two together. So to get that, I'm going to go equals sum, and I will click on my equipment account. I'm going to do apostrophe minus the 45. And this represents the amount of usefulness left of the equipment. And my total assets is going to be the sum of these two. Sorry, let's try that again. I lost my equals sum. Sorry, guys. This, comma, minus this. And now I'll do the sum function. Equals sum. Current assets plus your long-term assets. And then I did the exact same thing for my for my liabilities and shareholders equity, except notice I have to get the 3,310 from here because this is my beginning retained earnings. In this next video I'm going to show you how we take all these revenues, expenses, and dividends. We're going to zero them out and transfer the balance into retained earnings so that after closing, my ending retained earnings will be the 3,310.